Cyberspace is often perceived as the Wild Wild West, in which state law do not apply. Hence, and since the beginning of the 21st century, politicians from all sides and all countries have denounced the borderless nature of cyberspace. It is true that digital technology is revolutionizing the political action of states and international organizations. The exponential growth and interconnection of networks have created as many opportunities as threats for existing sovereign powers. Besides, the cross-border nature of networks and the ability to operate remotely challenge the exercise of state sovereignty. The instantaneous speed of exchange and the volatility of digital tracks are additional difficulties. And the most developed countries are also the most vulnerable due to the high degree of connectivity.
All these elements impact the capability of governments to lead political actions in many fields. First of all, in the fields of defense and security, cyber attacks spread instantly across the globe and can threaten national security, affect the armed forces' capabilities, and change the nature of warfare. The fight against hate speech, the promotion of online violence or terrorism, or the fight against cybercrime require the international cooperation of law enforcement, not only between states, but also between states and the web companies. However, this cooperation has been implemented with difficulties, and there are challenges in making it as reactive as necessary in the face of these instantaneous phenomena. In addition, the main web companies or platforms are not European companies. They are mainly American, and here I'm thinking of those known under the acronym of GAFAM for Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft. But Chinese platforms such as Alibaba or TikTok are increasingly used by European internet users. The ability of governments to conduct political action is also being challenged by the digital revolution in the economic, financial, and monetary fields. Digital networks considerably accelerate the circulation of goods and financial flows. The taxation of web companies has been a hot topic in the European Union for several years. Several sectors of the economy have seen their business model disrupted. For example, the press has seen its dependence on Google increase because of the traffic brought to their website by the famous search engine. A participation of Google in their funding has been the subject of fierce negotiations for many years now. Finally, the emergence of cryptocurrencies also competes with the current international monetary system.
The borders of existing jurisdiction and established sovereignty have become more blurred and intertwined in the space of communication generated by networks, which requires states to rethink the framework of their action.
Sometimes the existing regulatory frameworks need to be adapted. For example, states have recognized the full application of international law to cyberspace, which means that there's no need to create a new specific field of law dedicated to cyberspace. But the ways and means of its application have been hotly debated within international organizations such as the UN for several years. But sometimes it is necessary to think about the creation of new regulations to meet the challenges of the digital revolution, because it is profoundly transforming entire areas of human activity and creating new forms of interaction. The issue of the collection and the use of digital data is, without doubt, an example of the need to create new regulatory frameworks. The production volume of digital data is today considerable and is going to grow exponentially in the coming years. Combined with powerful algorithms, this data reflects the physical world and human activities, our movements, our social exchange, our business behavior, and even our heart rate and the quality of our sleep. Data has become a real market, and beyond its purely economic and financial dimension, it has a huge impact on social, ethical, and democratic issues. As seen during the 2016 US elections, data can be used to influence democratic processes. The Cambridge Analytica affair revealed how a British company could define the political preferences of a larger number of Americans by exploiting data generated by Facebook. This information was later used by Donald Trump during his presidential campaign to try to influence the result of the election. Private companies collect and control huge amounts of data, but their geographical distribution is not uniform, which generates huge imbalances in data flows. These imbalances are of strategic importance. Therefore, the protection of data, especially personal data, its collection and reuse require the creation of new regulatory frameworks, as the European Union did when it adopted the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. The main idea of this European regulation is to make individuals the owners of their personal data. They did that by giving individuals the right and the power to decide which personal data is collected and what types of uses of their data they want to authorize or not.
However, to meet the challenges posed by the digital revolution, the political action should not relate exclusively to adjustments or creation of regulatory frameworks. Political action must take other form, and first of all, I'm thinking of the issue of training and raising awareness on digital issues. The digital revolution disrupts our daily lives, and training citizens and raising their awareness to the challenges of digital technology is a key to the condition of the evolution of political action. For example, understanding the data environment is crucial because digital data is now at the heart of our society's decision-making processes and is used to solve increasingly complex problems such as the fight against cancer, climate change, terrorism, or even COVID-19. This understanding is all the more essential as two major technological breakthroughs are about to revolutionizing the processing of data and will eventually increase its power and value, the quantum computing and artificial intelligence. These technologies are in full development and their implications are only just beginning to become apparent. Still, they already raised major political, democratic, philosophical, and ethical issues.